Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's Thursday, it's 9 o'clock. It's time for a Magic Stuff. You can always tell when I'm taking Magic Stuff seriously. I have a list. I do have a list here. This is going to be a complete show breakdown of a parlor show. A few weeks ago on this channel, I did a complete show breakdown of a kids show, and it was very well received, and people have been saying they want to see one of a parlor show. So that is what I'm doing for you. First of all, what is a parlor show? Well, a parlor show, in my opinion, is a show, a stage show, that's designed for less than 25 people and is done in a smallish room. That's basically what a parlor show is. Now, parlor shows are great for a few different reasons. First of all, it's not a full stage show. So you can, when you're performing in a parlor show and you're actually doing the trick selection for a parlor show, one of the cool things is you can take close-up routines that you use as a close-up magician, and you can incorporate those into your show, and it'll play to a big audience. It'll play to that 20, 25 people. As long as you play it big, it'll work absolutely fine. So you can take close-up routines and use them in a parlor show, no problem. But likewise, you can take stage shows, routines that you would do in a bigger stage show, and you can actually use those as well to play to the audience. So it works in so many different ways. And one thing that I'd like to say is, I get the question all the time on this channel, how do I transition from close-up magic to stage shows? And one of the ways of doing that is to do a parlor show. Because one of the things that close-up magicians are scared of when they go and work on stage is walking out in front of 100, 200, 300 people. Well, doing a parlor show really kind of gives you that stepping stone to go and do stage shows, because you can go and do a stage show, but for a smaller amount of people, and it allows you to continue to do the stuff that you would do as a close-up magician in the show, and therefore it'll give you experience at working a crowd and developing your stage persona. So that's really important. You know, that's really, really important. And then as you develop stage material, you can bring that stage material into your parlor show as well and test it out before you do it on a big stage. For me, parlor shows are probably my favorite thing to do. I love close-up, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love close-up, but I prefer performing on stage. And one of the reasons I prefer performing on stage is because when you're doing close-up, right? Let's say you book for like 2 or 3 hours of mix and mingle close-up magic. You can have the best audience in the world. You can have this group of people that everybody's raving. It's like dynamo David Blaine style reactions. Everyone's freaking out, right? After 5 minutes, you're going to have to leave that group and go somewhere else. And you're going to have to win that crowd over again, and then win the next group over, and then win the next group over, which isn't a problem. That's what close-up magicians do. But I prefer it when I walk out and I've got a group of people that I can take on a journey. I have to win them over at the beginning, and then once I've won them over, I've got them, and I can take them on this journey with me that they're going to end up loving, hopefully. That's the plan. So I do really like stage shows, but I really, really like parlor shows. So yeah, this is basically a complete breakdown of one of my parlor shows. I do have multiple parlor shows. In fact, many years ago, I bought out a DVD through World Magic Shop of my parlor show, the first DVDs, back when there were DVDs. The first DVD was like a full show, and then the second DVD broke down those tricks step by step so you could learn them. And that was great. This is a completely different situation. The performance that you're about to see right now I was hired, I can't remember what it was about 3 years ago now. It was either a 50th or a 60th birthday, I think, something like that, but they had a private dining room. I think it was near central London or something, very posh venue. They had a private dining room, and it was quite unique, this show, because they wanted me to do 1 hour, which is kind of weird, you know, to do a show that long. And I think the reason is I was the only entertainment. Like, they'd had the meal, they'd had everything, that was it. It was this group of people, group of friends, I think there were about 20 people there, and I was the entertainment, I was it. So they wanted like a 1 hour show at the end of dinner to amaze everybody. So at the end of dinner, I came in with my box, and I did a full 1 hour parlor show. So you're going to see a full 1 hour parlor show. Now there's 8 routines in this show, and how this is going to work is I'm going to talk about each one of these sections, and then you'll see the full performance of it as well. So you can see the whole show, but I'm going to break it down by talking about each section as well. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. Now, I know there's going to be people watching this already, and they're going to say, wow, an hour show and you only did 8 tricks. That's crazy. But that's all about knowing your character and knowing who you are as a performer, right? I enjoy, when performing, doing longer routines, spending more time on presentation and patter and more time on entertainment. That's kind of what I like to focus on. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing right about it. I know there's going to be people out there that in a 1 hour show would probably do like 30 or 40 tricks. And that's absolutely fine as well. It's about knowing your character. I know my character, and you'll see this throughout the show. My character is somebody who doesn't take themselves too seriously. Although they're a professional magician and they can do magic, they aren't pretending that it's real. They're telling you openly it's sleight of hand and practice and cheating, and anybody else can do what my character's doing with enough practice. That's kind of who I am, and I'm kind of like this con man who'll con you, but he's got a heart of gold and he'll do it with a smile in his eye. That's the kind of character that I'm looking for, and the focus for me is on entertainment. I would rather have people go away going, oh my gosh, that was so funny, or that was so entertaining, than that was so magical. Yes, the magic is important, and I do want lots of strong magical moments in my show as well, but that's not the driving force. That's not the most important thing. And I think before we even start talking about anything, you need to understand that when you're putting a show together, what are you wanting out of this show? Are you wanting it to be a magical extravaganza where there's magic happening every couple of seconds and the emphasis is on the magic? Or are you wanting it more of the style that you're about to see me do? There's no right or wrong, but you need to know how you want that show to take place. And you also need to know how, as I say, what your character is, because your character will dictate trick selection. You wouldn't see Darren Brown, for example, doing Dippy Duck. You know, it just isn't something that he would do. So your character dictates your trick selection dictates your parlor show. The only other thing that I would say is to make sure, and this is very, very important, make sure that when you are putting a parlor show together, you do a full dress rehearsal several times. As close-up magicians, we're used to just practicing in front of a mirror or practicing in our bedroom and going out and showing the audience, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're doing a stage show, there's so many other factors you need to consider, including where to put your props and how to transition from one prop to the other. I've seen magicians doing stage shows for the first time, and mentalists who have died on their arse because they don't know where everything's meant to be and they look disorganized on stage. And when you start looking disorganized, you'll lose the audience. It's as simple as that. I remember seeing a magician once, and he was doing a stage show, and I think he was a bit inexperienced at it, and I felt a bit sorry for him. But he had this moment towards the end of the show. He had this box hanging up on stage, and he wanted to, at the end of the show, take this box down. Now, the problem with wanting to take this box down is obviously it was too high, so he needed to get a chair. And his plan was to bring a chair out from backstage because he needed that chair in order to do a move. The thing is, the routine that he did before this was a chair test, and he had 5 chairs out on stage. So he went for the chair test with 5 chairs out on stage to saying, oh, I've got a box up there. I need to get a chair so I can reach it. There were 5 chairs on stage, but he chose to go backstage to get a chair to bring it out. And it kind of telegraphed what was going on, if that makes sense. So dress rehearsal is very, very important. Anyway, with that in mind, by the by, let's start talking about the act. And the first thing that we're going to be talking about is routine number 1, which is coins across. And we're also going to be talking about the warm-up. Okay, so the warm-up is very, very important. I talked about a warm-up when I did this for kid shows. When I talked about kid shows, I talked about the warm-up. it's just as important for a stage show. What do I mean by a warm-up? I mean getting the audience on side, because the first thing that you need to do when you walk out on stage for any type of stage show, but especially a parlor show, is you need to establish credibility very, very quickly and give the audience a reason to care. If you walk out on stage and you're fumbling and you don't know what you're doing and you go hello and it all looks a bit of a hot mess, you're going to lose the audience immediately. You have to establish credibility. And the way to do that initially is to walk out on stage with a lot of confidence. Just walk out on stage and say, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name's Craig." Or whatever it is that you want to say, you want to grab their attention, make it look like you've done this a million times before. Now, you'll notice that at the beginning of my warm-up, I do this whole MC bit. I'm like, hey, the louder you are, the better the show's going to be. Can you do that for me? Everybody on this side, put your hand in the air. It's an old MC bit. It's been around for years, but it absolutely works for me because it gets the audience comfortable with cheering and clapping, which is kind of a weird thing. You know, audiences need to be encouraged, at least initially, until it becomes second nature, and you're bringing them out the shell. In this sort of environment, I don't have a compere that can do this for me, so I'm doing it instead. Now, you don't want to make it too long, but you do want to actually have this moment here where you're getting them cheering and getting them in on it. Now, the other thing that I do as part of the warm-up, the other thing that I do is I like to give away the destination box. And the reason is the destination box is the finale to my show. So by giving it out at the very, very beginning, I'm bringing the show full circle. So the first thing that happens in the show is I give this box out. The last thing that happens at the end of the show is that I get that box back and I show them something amazing with it. And I love having this whole full circle moment. And the nice thing is when you give this box out so early on in the show, people forget about it. The people that are holding it forget about it. So that when you reference it at the end of the show, people are just like, oh my gosh, that's been there the entire time. And it's just, it just ups the impossibility factor. Now, when you're doing something like this and you're having to give props out to the audience and you're doing something quite procedural, what you need to do is you need to make sure that it's interesting for the audience to watch. So how do you make it so it's interesting for the audience to watch? Well, one thing that you want to do, and I use this, and you'll be able to see this in a second, is by making it funny when you're giving these props out. Now, I use a couple of lines that I first saw Bill Malone and Doc Eason do in their Bill and Lemon routines. It's kind of like that whole "who's got the box?" They use "who's got the bag?" and that sort of thing, but it's still the same concept. I think Steve Spill was the guy that originally came up with a lot of those lines. But what that does is that makes it really interesting, because now, rather than just saying, "Here, I'll hold on to a box," you're building it up as a bigger moment. Rather than just giving somebody a key and, say, "Here, I'll hold on to this key," you're building it up as a bigger moment. So the warm-up will take like probably 3 or 4 minutes, but at the end of the 3 or 4 minutes, I've already got the audience on side. They're already laughing, they're already clapping, they've probably already realized that they're going to have a lot of fun. So after the warm-up, we're then going to go into the first routine, which is the coins across. Now, coins across is a close-up routine, but I'm playing it on stage, and it's a great routine to play on stage. And the reason it's a great routine to play on stage is because it does a few things. The first thing it does is it establishes credibility. A lot of the routines in my show, they don't look like they're very skillful. So by doing a routine that obviously has a lot of skill behind it, it establishes credibility at the very, very beginning. Also, it's super visual. And also, people won't have seen this before. A lot of people haven't seen coin magic before. Coin magic is something that's not seen a lot, especially on stage. So because it's not seen a lot, by opening your show with it shows people something very unique immediately. The other thing is it allows me to bring a member of the audience up as well, to be involved in this first routine in the show. Now, I'm not going to go into why the coins across routine works, but I will point 2 things out about the coins across. First of all, you've got them sitting there on the chair and you're standing next to them. But that's not the important thing. The first thing is, normally when you do a coins across, and you see a lot of magicians do a coins across, there's one moment of audience reaction. The coin jumps from one hand to the other and the audience reacts. Think about Superfly. 3 coins, now there's 1 over there. The way that I'm doing it here, there's 3 moments of audience reaction. And the reason is, notice I condition them to react. So the person that I've got up on stage with me, I do this whole thing where I say, hey, the coin's going to land in your hand. You'll know when it lands by the look on their face. They're going to be like this. I'm conditioning them to react when they feel a coin land in their hand. So I show the 3 coins. I make the first coin travel. And there's 3 moments. The first moment is when that coin hits their hand, they react. And the audience reacts to their reaction. Second of all, I then show that there's only 2 coins over there. So that's a second moment of magic. And then I show that the first coin has jumped over here, and that was what was causing them to react. So there's 3 moments, 3 clearly defined moments with each coin that travels. Sometimes more than 3, because don't forget, when the next coin goes, you've got that audible moment as well, which goes across the whole of the audience. They hear that coin land, which they react to immediately at the same time as the person that's cupping their hands together. So it's one of the reasons why I love Coins Across so much in this sort of environment. Would I do Coins Across to a big stage show? Hell no. But does it work really well in a parlour environment? Yes, it does. The other thing that I want you to notice here is I finish off with a jumbo coin production, or 2 jumbo coin productions. This whole routine is actually phase 1 of my monster coin routine and the jumbo coin finale from my monster coin routine, which was on Parlor but was also on Netrix. And the reason I'm telling you this, if you want to learn it, that's where you can learn it from. But it's designed to play really, really big. It's designed to play really, really big. And the production of the jumbo coins at the end of the coin routine really kind of gives the whole thing a sense of finality. Right, okay, that's it. That's over now. That was amazing. Wow. So let's have a look at the warm-up and the Coins Across routine. So you can see how both of these routines work. Let's have a look at the warm-up and the Coins Across routine, and then we'll go on to routine number 2.
The blue tapping mystery. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over here. This is going to become important in the show a little bit later on. Your job is to keep an eye on that envelope. There is one other thing that I need to give out that I have here inside my case. I have somewhere a box. If I can find that box, that would be amazing. Here is the box. Now, I'm going to give this box out. This box, again, is the box of mystery. I would like someone to hold on to this. This is going to become important a little bit later on. Somebody needs to hold on to this. No, that's going to be you, sir. That's going to be you. The reason I'm asking you to pick that up is because out of everybody here, you look like the most trustworthy, to be honest. So, I should also point out that I'm a terrible judge of character. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you this box. I just want to make sure that what's in there is in there. Yes, it's fantastic. I'm going to lock this back up, and your job is to hold on to the box. Now, later on, I'm going to shout out at the top of my voice, "Who's got the box?" What's your name, sir?
Adrian.
The man of honor. When I shout out, "Who's got the box, Adrian?" what I'd like you to do is stand up, because I'm doing magic here. When you think magic, you think Las Vegas. So when I shout out, "Who's got the box?" what I'd like you to do is stand up. Put your feet slightly apart like this. Take the box, hold it high up in the air, put one hand on your hip, pretend you're a Las Vegas showgirl, and I'd like you to go, "You have got the box over here." and so you understand you're rolling. So you understand you're rolling the show. We're going to have practice. So let me just give me this. Just 1 minute. Hang on. Hang on a second.
I'm going to say this.
Who's got the box? You have one line. Have you ever helped a magician before, sir?
No.
You're not helping one right now, to be honest. Let's try again. You who over here. Well, that went swimmingly. Hold on to that box, sit down, don't let anyone get to it. I also need someone to hold on to the key. I love when I say this, everybody looks down as if to say, if I don't look at him, he won't pick me. I'm going to ask you to hold on to the key for me, ma'am. Now, you are going to be you're going to be the security card for the key. So later on, I'm going to shout out, "Who's got the key?" When I shout out, "Who's got the key?" I want you to stand up. Pretend you're a rough, tough security guard, hold the key and go, "Yo, over here!" That's all you have to do. Very important job. If you get it right, they'll give crazy. Give you a big round of applause. You hold on to the key. Let's have a practice. Who's got the key?
Yo, over here.
That was amazing. That was fantastic. Oh, so without further ado, we've got the box. We've got the envelope. I think they've got everything that we need. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for showtime? Yeah! Good stuff. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off with a particular routine. I said that I'm a champion. I am actually a 4-time British Magical Society Close-Up Magician of the Year. I'm going to show you the trick that I use to win. And I need somebody to come up and help me for this. And that somebody... Would you help me? Would that be okay? Can you put your hand in the air?
Yeah.
Of course you can come up and help. Yes. What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah, stand up for me for a second. It's good to know. Actually, I'm going to take your chair for you because you are going to sit down for this. So I'm going to put this right here. You grab a seat. There you go. Face the front, Sarah. You're in show business right now. Let's give Sarah a big round of applause. I'm going to start off with this. It's a little purse. What do you think of my manly purse? Wonderful, isn't it? Now, inside the purse, we hold... Yes, don't forget the show there, Sarah. Inside the purse, we have coins. Now, these coins are silver American dollars. These coins are over 100 years old, and the reason I use these is that you guys can see them from a distance. Now, before I do anything, I want you guys to examine the coins. Have a look at them, check them out, make sure they're okay. No wires, no magnets, no trapdoors. Please take your time. I get paid by the hour. Are the coins okay? The reason I use big coins like this is, as I say, that way everyone can see the coins. Even you guys at the very back of the cheap seats, you can see that coin, can't you?
That's $1.
It's a $1 coin, that's right, sir. There you go. Wonderful. So, Sarah, this is your time to shine. What I'd like you to do is cup your hands together for me like this, like an Oliver Twist asking for more. Notice my sleeves are rolled up. The idea, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. One at a time. I'm going to take these coins. I'm going to make them jump, pass, travel from one place to another by magic. By the way, sir, do you know what that's called?
Magic.
No, it's called showing off. Here we go, up the sleeve, across the chest, down over the sleeve, into your hand, Sarah. Now, you won't see the coins go. You will, however, know when they land by the look on Sarah's face. There will be a look. Sarah, when they land in your hands, you're going to be like this. That was so good. I was going to ask, do you want to have a practice, but that was perfect. So, do you see the 3 coins? With no sleeves, when I pull on the finger, the first coin jumps. Watch the 3 coins. Here we go. 1, 2.
Oh.
There's the look. The reason the look says you actually felt the first coin go from there over to there. That's coin number 1. That's the first coin across. Thank you. One person, you started a ripple. That was lovely. We'll do that again. In fact, I'll keep doing it until you like it, my friend. Okay, so we'll just keep going. Watch, 2 coins over here, 1 coin over here. This time you know exactly what's going to happen. Listen for the clink. Watch those 2 coins. Here we go. There'll be a clink this time. 1, 2.
Oh.
That's the second coin. You're amazing, Sarah. One last coin. Hold out one hand for me. Just that hand there. I appreciate your enthusiasm. There we go. That's 1. That's 2. Would you like this last one to go the easy way or the hard way? I like you more by the second, Sarah. I'm glad you said that because, to be honest, the easy way does not look very good. It's kind of like that. It's rubbish. Look, nothing in my hands. I'm going to take 1, Sarah. Squeeze the other 2. Turn your hand over. Squeeze tightly. Watch that last coin, Sarah. You know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to make it go from my closed fist to your closed fist, from over here over to here. With this hand down here, can you rub the back of mine? It's got nothing to do with the trick, it just feels nice. Just to be honest, when I make that joke, most people stop rubbing Sarah, but thanks for being nice. She's very friendly. 1, 2, 3. Now, Sarah, be honest, if I told you it was there, would you believe me?
No.
Thanks for the faith, I appreciate that. Did you feel it?
No.
That's the story of my life. If it is there, that'd be crazy. Sarah, turn your hand over, open that up, have a look. All 3 coins, people! It's typically the big finish, so this is the big finish, and the reason this is the big finish is because you cannot get any bigger than that. That is literally about as big as you can get right there. That's the big finish. Thank you very, very much. Unless, of course, you count the one behind your ear. So I'm not counting that one because that's ridiculous. But if you count that one, that is the big finish. Let's give Sarah a big, huge, massive round of applause.
Okay, so routine number 2 is the chop cup. And you'll notice when you see the presentation for the chop cup that I use a gambling style presentation. Again, this comes down to understanding your character. My character is the sort of person that is a bit of a con man, a bit of a cheat, and it's about understanding your character, and that will dictate your trick selection. Understand who it is that you are. For me, chop cup is a perfect routine to follow to follow the coins cross routine with. I get sometimes people saying to me, you can't do chop cup to a big audience. Well, absolutely, yes, you can. And if you don't believe me, look at Paul Daniels as a perfect example. Chop cup is one of these wonderful routines that will play close up. They'll play to a parlor show. You can even do it on stage. It'll work in any environment. And again, it's what I like about the chop cup routine, it's quite quick, it's over fairly quickly, but there's a lot of visual moments. There's a lot of stuff happening in a very short period of time. And again, like the coin routine, you've got a clearly defined finale. You've got that clear moment at the end of the routine, and it signifies the end of the routine, if that kind of makes sense. It allows me to bring somebody else up on stage. I love having that moment where you bring somebody else up on stage. In a parlor show, I like to bring lots of people up throughout the show and get them involved in what I'm doing. And so both of these first two routines are bringing people up. In fact, pretty much every routine in this show brings somebody up on stage. But yeah, I mean, the chop cup is great. It again shows a lot of skill, especially the way that I actually perform it. But it's also very, very engaging. So let's have a quick look at the performance of the chop cup routine.
Maybe because I like a challenge. So I'm going to come a little bit closer forward. And what's your name again, sir?
Graham.
Graham. Oh, Graham, I've heard about you. Oh, now it all becomes clear. Graham, would you like to help me?
Yeah.
Stand up, Graham. Everyone give Graham a big, huge, massive round of applause. Graham, you and I are going to play a gambling game. Not for money, just for fun. You do not want to play me for money, let me tell you that right now. We're going to play a gambling game just for money, but you guys are allowed to watch as well if you want to. That's absolutely fine. We don't need the coins, we just need this case right here and what's inside. Now, I want you to examine everything before I start, Graham. First thing I want to do, we've got a bag. Inside the bag, we have a dice cup. Inside, we have a dice. We'll get to that later on. First of all, what I'd like you to do is examine this bag, check it out, make sure it's okay, make sure it's normal. It is. I wouldn't give it you to look at if it wasn't, but please, it's not a puppet. I have no idea what you're doing right now. You don't trust me at all, do you? That's right. Okay, so as well as this, we also use this. This is a dice cup. Inside the dice cup, we have a dice or a die, if you want to be grammatically correct. Your job is to examine the cup, examine the die. Make sure the die goes into the cup, make sure it comes out again. Make sure there's no trapdoors, no secret compartments, no portals to another dimension. I don't want you saying later on that Craig was a pretty good magician, but he had a dodgy cup. It's important that you guys know that I'm not cheating. Is it okay?
The cup's okay.
The cup's okay, wonderful. Did he go in, did he come out, and all that fun stuff happen? Good stuff. So guys, the idea of this game is very simple. I have to try, come a little bit closer. I have to try and get the die underneath the cup without you catching me. If I can do that, I win. Do you understand the rules of the game? You have to catch me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right, let's go. Well, that was a fun game. Should we play again? I thought you were... Okay, sorry,
What am I supposed to say?
Yeah, whenever you see me. Oh, I'll tell you, I'll go slow. I'll show you underneath the cup. I'll show you the knife. I'm not going to do anything until you say go. That was too fast. You weren't expecting it. It wasn't expecting it. The problem, he wasn't expecting it. You see, here's the thing. It's all to do with misdirection. Misdirection means making you look somewhere else. Everybody watches the die. Don't watch the die, watch the cup. Ultimately, that's where it's going to end up. Thank you very much. Nobody. Now look. I'm going to give you a chance to catch this, all right? I'm going to give you a chance to catch this. Look. I'm going to show you the cup. I'm going to show you the die. I'm going to put the die in my pocket. To win the game, all you have to do is tell me where's the die. Under the pocket or in the cup. Just say pocket or cup. I'll help you cut it up. I'm seriously, I want you to win. Where's the die? Pocket. No, I'm trying to help you, man. Seriously, I promise you, I'm lulling you into a full sense of security. Where's the die?
Pocket.
Try again. Where's the die?
Pocket.
We can keep doing this all day. Where's the die?
Pocket.
Where's the die? Pocket, right? No. If I snap my fingers, that's when it goes underneath the cup. Oh no, right? Now to teach you how it works, it's really, really simple. You need a die, you need a cup. Hold your hand out for me, squeeze the die, turn your hand over. Now you don't just get the die into the cup in one go. It's two goes. First of all the spots, then the die. See, if I snap my fingers and snap my fingers, guys, the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Underneath the cup, we have the spots. They're invisible, but they are there, trust me. They don't make pressure than the die. See, no spots. I know, right? See, the spots are there, the die's there. If I just cover up the spots, put the die in my pocket, all I have to do is tap twice, and it all goes back together. Thank you very much. You do this yourself, every single person here will love you. I'm going to put this in my pocket, all you have to do is tap twice. No, you're not doing it. Tap twice. Bit harder. That's too hard. That's kind of aggressive. Too late now, you've already ruined it. Do you know what happens when you tap that hard? You end up with one like about 20 times bigger. And be honest with me, you can see the big red die go under the cup. Now you probably missed the pool ball. I mean, most people do it. But you know what, when you go home and tell people about this, you won't tell people about the pool ball or the big red die. You'll tell people that they completely missed the moment that the bag disappeared off the table. And the reason is, inside the cup, that's the bag, that's the cup, that's the ball, that's the die, that's the trick. Thank you very, very much. You're amazing.
So the first two routines that we looked at, or the first two routines of the show, were close-up routines that I played for a bigger audience. I played them bigger to make them work for a parlour audience. This next routine is the first routine that's really a stage routine that I'm bringing into this parlour show. And this is Superfly by Scott Alexander. Now, I say it's Superfly, it's actually my variation of Superfly. It's actually quite different to the original Superfly. And there's a lesson to be learned here, and the lesson is, it's very, very important that when you perform and you buy a trick for your act, you don't just perform it the way that the creator has sold it, but you look at it and you honestly say to yourself, does this work for my show? Can I get away with this? Does this work for my show? And if it doesn't, don't be afraid to change it. So with the original Superfly, there's this big moment in the routine where Scott gets one of the members on stage to go out into the audience, have three people pick cards. He gets them to do funny accents, and they pick three cards that are shuffled into the pack, and it's the three cards that they pick that jump across. And it's a lovely moment, it really is. And I love it, I really do. I think it's such a strong moment. It doesn't work in my show. I tried it a few different ways. I tried to make it work. It just didn't work in my show. I felt like I was actually losing the audience at that point. When I was sending that guy out into the audience to do this, and I was standing on stage and kind of telling him what to do, I felt like I was losing the audience at that point. They were switching off because nothing was happening on stage, and it was killing it for me. Now, that's just me. Maybe that's my own inadequacies as a performer, but I'm hyper aware of knowing what will work in my show and what won't. And it's not because of Scott, because I've seen Scott perform the original Superfly routine many times and kill with it. So I know it's not Scott, but I just couldn't make that moment work. But I still loved lots of different aspects of Superfly. I love the cards across moment with the envelopes down the crotch, and I love the use of the gimmick to have the cards jump across. I wanted to keep all that, but I wanted to streamline it for my own personal use. So I changed the method so that I was palming cards instead, which makes it more difficult than what Scott's version is, because Scott's version is self-working pretty much, because it's all a completely different method. But the new method allowed me to streamline it and just get through to the bit that I like a little bit quicker, if that kind of makes sense. And I can't stress enough how important it is to do that sort of thing. Yeah, so Superfly is a great routine to put into the show at this point. Because it does play really big. I've got two people up on stage. It's a very funny routine. You can see that from the live performance footage. Everybody always loves it. And it's one of those routines that, you know, I always get people coming up to me afterwards and going, oh my gosh, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I absolutely love that. It's kind of become a bit of a signature routine in my show. So I have to thank Scott Alexander for that. It's great. It really is. So I'm going to show you the performance of this right now so you can see. When I do, the other thing I want you to look at right now, and we talked about this when I was breaking down a kids show, but I'm going to talk about it again now briefly, is understanding the importance of hook lines and transitions. So in other words, what are you going to say to hook the audience's attention? What hook line are you going to use to grab the audience's attention? And how are you going to transition from one trick to the other without going, now for my next trick, now for my next trick. Are you going to say something which links the two tricks together? Are they going to be independent tricks? If so, what's the scripting to get from one part to the next? All of this stuff is really, really important. So as you're watching, listen for the transitions, listen for the hook lines, because that's something that I do spend a lot of time thinking about. But anyway, let's have a look at this. This is Superfly. It fits really well into this part of the routine, into this part of the act. We're going to have a look at that right now.
You know what? I can do tricks, but not miracles. Are you going to be okay standing up for this? Are you sure? You stand. Yeah, I tell you what. You go that side, because I know how this trick goes. Right. Okay. You stand that side. You go that side. That's very good. There you go. Pop it. Very good. You face that way. Go full over. You stand over there. You stand here, sir. So we're kind of like a really bad boy band. Face the front, smile. You're in show business. Very good. So we'll start with you. What's your name?
Russ.
This is Ross, everybody! What's your name? This is Paul, everybody! Ross is slightly more popular there, I think. Don't worry about it. I also have a pack of playing cards. Now, this trick is not about having somebody to pick a card. We are going to do a trick later on where somebody picks a card, but this is not the trick right now. This trick is very different. What we're going to do with this trick is you're going to take the cards. Okay. Yes. And you're going to count 10 cards into my hand one at a time. Okay. Now, while you count the cards into my hand, one at a time out loud, I would like every single person here to count along with you. For two reasons. It's really important that you know that I have 10 cards, and two, I don't know you, you might need the help. I don't know. So you take the card, and what you're going to do, you're going to count 10 cards into my hand one at a time. If everyone can count out loud, that'd be brilliant. Off you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You did a good job. Let's give them a big round of applause. Do me a favour, pass the cards across. And take those 10 cards, and also there's an envelope behind you that I've got on my case. Can you seal the cards inside the envelope? While he's doing that, can you take the cards, count 10 cards into my hand? Everyone comes along with him, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pass the rest to the cards of that gentleman over there, just so that we're out of the way. And I'm going to give you an envelope. You're going to take the 10 cards, put them inside the envelope, seal it shut. Now, while he's doing that, can you do me a favour? Take the pen. On the front of the envelope, in big letters, write your name. There you go. That's very good. And have you sealed yours? Yep. That's amazing. And we're going to take the pen. Thank you very much. And you're going to write your name on the front of the envelope as well. And it's really important that you guys realise at no point am I going to touch that envelope at this point on. Okay?
That's not sealed.
No, there's a little strip inside that you pull off.
Oh, is there?
Yes, it's okay. It's my fault. To be honest, Paul realised. I didn't realise I had to explain how to use an envelope, to be honest, Russell, but you know, that's fine. It's okay.
I tend to work on a higher plane.
Whatever you keep telling yourself to make yourself go through the day, right? Okay. So, Russell, aka Mr. Envelope, you stand over there. Paul, you stand over there. We're going to change places, and then I won't make you move again. Is that all right, Paul? Right, fantastic. So take the envelopes, hold them out in front of you so that people can see your name on it. Guys, I'm not going to touch those envelopes. 10 cards inside each envelope. They did it. They signed it. They've done everything. Now, here's the thing. I want you to imagine that inside those envelopes there are not 10 cards. I want you to imagine that inside those envelopes there's actually £10,000. What I want you to do is take those envelopes and put them somewhere so nobody can find them. So even if you were going through airport security, Russell, they wouldn't find those envelopes. I'm going to be less subtle. Shove them straight down. Well, seriously, all the way down there. And you as well. Down the front, though, it's really important.
Okay.
No, they're all the way down the front. I need them down there. Down that sort of area. Yeah, making sure they go south for the winter. Is it there? Is it tucked away? Yeah. Kind of that sort of area, right? Very good. Back there, is that right? Very good. Face the front. So,
This is where the girls come in now.
I know. Business is about to pick up now, right? Here we go. So the idea is very simple. Guys, onto that website. It's really important that you don't move. You have to, for this trick to work, you have to be the same distance away from him as he is from you. Right, guys, think about this. We have 10 cards in an envelope. There. And we have 10 cards in an envelope. There. The idea is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try and make 3 cards disappear from there. And I'm going to try and make them appear there. You, Russell, will feel them go. And you, Paul, you will most definitely feel them arrive. So, here we go. Now I have to do this under the cover of darkness, which is why I've brought with me a handkerchief inside my case. Here it is. So guys, arms down by your sides. Very good. Here we go. Just to be clear, I'm going to go around behind you now.
Okay.
I'm just going to reach around. My advice is not to back up.
Don't cough for us.
Okay. And whatever you do not bend down. Okay, that's important. Right? Okay. So before we start, let me ask you a question. Russ, are you ready?
I am.
No, that's not good enough. If you get excited, they'll get excited as well. This is going to be a lot better. Let's try that again. Russ, are you ready?
I am!
He is! Paul, are you ready?
Oh yes.
No. Paul, are you ready?
Oh yes!
Arms down by your sides. Right, here we go. Back into position. All you have to do is concentrate. 3 cards, jumping across, concentrate. Here we go. 1, 2, here we go. You do well. Let's go yourself back in. Okay, set. Come on, 2 times in 1 night. You can do it. Just concentrate. Here we go. Okay, I can see it coming. It's coming. Look, come on, 2, come on, 2. Can you believe I get paid for this, right? Right, the final one is going to be a little bit more difficult. 3 times in 1 night. All you have to do is say the magic words.
Viagra!
Viagra! That's one final card. That's, ladies and gentlemen, all 3 cards. Come on! Yes! Now, I know you don't believe me, so I have to prove it. Now, Russell, in all seriousness, I've been close to, but I haven't actually touched your crotch.
No.
What I'd like you to do is reach in and take it out. The envelope.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. That's your sealed envelope. Well, I sealed it because you can figure out how to. I mean, the envelope is sealed.
It is indeed.
Your name on the front. What I'd like you to do, without ripping through the cards, take the envelope and rip it open with grace and style. We'll do that. Now, simple math question. You had 10 cards. If 3 cards are gone, how many left? Should be 7. Should be 7. Take them out. Take the envelope, scrunch it up, throw it on the floor. Take those cards, they're going to count along with you. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards, people! But they have to go somewhere. They have to go somewhere. Don't they, Paul?
Oh yes.
Would you like me to get it or do you want it? Are you sure? I mean, because you've got the caption, are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Now, I don't want to touch that. Damn, do I not want to touch that? Really, I don't want to come anywhere near it. So what I want you to do is rip it open with the grace and style of somebody who... That's it, that's what I was looking for. Reach and take them out now. Before you do, what's 10 plus 3?
13.
Took a while to come there. Very good. Reach in there, take out the cards. You do, well. There you go. Throw the envelope on the floor. Now, if there are 13 cards there, every single person in this room is going to give a huge round of applause to both of you because you've done an amazing job. If there's 13 cards there, if there's not 13 cards there, they're going to boo you. Welcome to my world. Okay? Take the cards, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards! Come on! Give them both a huge, massive round of applause. And if you go back to your seat, you can follow your way back to your seat. There you go, no problem. By the way, as a side note, before we move on to the next thing, you'll notice
with Superfly, I'm actually using The Thing by Bill Abbott. And that's another piece of advice I can give you here. Don't be afraid to invest in your props. When I got Superfly, it came with a zombie gimmick and a little handkerchief, and it was quite cheap. It was okay, it did the job, but I wanted more. And I realised that Bill Abbott's The Thing did exactly the same job, but looked so much better in so many different ways. So I spent a small fortune on The Thing, specifically to use it as a gag in my show. That tells you how important that gag is to me. But it also tells you that, you know, you should invest in your show. If you see something that you think is going to work for you, make sure that you invest in it. Anyway, after Superfly, we go into the cube routine. Now, why do I like cubes, or why do I specifically like cubes in this show? I've talked about this before in the past, but the nice thing about cubes is everybody can relate to them. Even if people didn't have one as a kid, which is rare, everybody knows what they are. They've all seen them. And more importantly, not only have they seen them, but they know how difficult they are to solve, and it's not an easy thing to solve. So it's something that's completely relatable. And I think that's very, very important when you're performing. You know, perform with something that people know, so that it'll make it a lot more interesting for them, if that makes sense. So that's what the cube routine's got. Now, I've got lots of different cube routines that I do, and you know, there's lots of different versions of the cube routine I do. But there's one thing that I think you need to understand. The important thing with the cube routine, and this is a mistake that I've seen a lot of people make. If you're going to do cubes in your show, have some variety and make sure you've got a clearly defined finale. I can't tell you the amount of magicians that I've seen that do cube magic and they just solve a cube 5 different ways. And then that's it. And then they go on with a different trick in their act. Or they solve the cube in 4 different ways. Or they cleverly match a cube 4 different ways, or whatever it may be. They don't have a finale. And the best way to describe this is, imagine if you saw a magician do an ambitious card, and all they did is they just had a card go to the top of the deck 5 times in pretty much the same way. They didn't do anything else. They didn't have like a card to wallet finale or a card to box finale or anything like that. The card just kept coming to the top of the deck, and then that's it. How would you kind of feel? You'd be like, it's kind of a bit weak. It's just repetitive, right? Well, that's the same thing with a cube routine. If you just do solve cube, solve cube, solve cube, solve cube, end, it can become very repetitive. So how can you make those solves more interesting? How can you transition from one solve to the other? What else can you do in the trick that's not a solve that makes it really interesting and engaging? And then, and this is the most important thing, have a finale. Now you'll see in this routine, I use the clear cube as a finale. That's a great finale because at the end, everything turns crystal clear. It's a wonderful moment, it really is. And it's a great way of saying this is the end of the routine. Now, there's others that will do this. Cube in Bottle is a great way to finish a routine. Rubik's Wall by Bon Lee is a great way to finish a routine. There are lots of different ways to finish a routine, but you need to make sure that you're incorporating it and you're not just doing solve, 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 solve. And how can you make those solves more interesting and more different? So incorporating something like Michael Murray's Behind the Back solve, the solution. That's a perfect example of how you can vary up the solves and make it more interesting by putting the power into the spectator's hands. Think about it. When you're doing cube magic, think about it. I love cube magic. It really is quite visual. And the reason I've included it at this point in the act is because the next routine I'm going into is quite a long mentalism routine. And I want to have this kind of visual moments before I kind of go into this longer routine. So that's it. That's my thought process on cube routines. I'm going to show you the footage right now. You can have a look at it, and then we'll move on to the next trick in the show.
I have there a bag, a red bag. Now inside this red bag there is something I'm completely and totally obsessed with. No, it's not donuts. Just so you know. Inside this bag I have 2 Rubik's Cubes. Now, did anybody own a Rubik's Cube back in the 70s when they were popular in the 80s and 70s? Do you remember the Rubik's Cube? You all remember the Rubik's Cube? Yeah, it's still popular now. Now, I have 2 Rubik's Cubes in here. I should tell you, I've been solving Rubik's Cube since the age of 7. I'm now 42, you can do the math. I've been solving them a long time. And at home I have a collection of over 150 individual separate Rubik's Cubes. There's a technical term for that, it's called SAD, just so you know. Now both of these cubes mean something to me. This first cube here, this cube is very old. This cube is the very first cube that I was given. And this cube hasn't been solved in over a decade. By the way, does anybody know how to solve a Rubik's Cube without taking the stickers off? Because that's cheating, you can't do that. Nobody can solve the Rubik's Cube, but it doesn't matter because I guarantee you each and every one of you can solve this cube inside this bag. The other cube, it's brand new. It's not been mixed. It's very easy to solve. Now, before I do anything, as you helped me before, Sarah, I'm not going to ask you to stand up, but I do want you to make a decision. 2 cubes in the bag, the really old one that's not been solved in a long time, and the brand new one that's not been mixed. Which one should we do the magic with? Your choice. Which one? The old one. I'm going to take the new one out, I'm going to leave the old one inside the bag. Your job is to hold on to this bag with the cube inside. Don't let anyone get to it. Okay? Please remember, we're going to leave that old mixed up cube inside the bag until later on. Can you hold on to that? Wonderful. I also need somebody to come up and help me. I need someone to come up and help. Everybody looks down as if to say, if I don't look at him, he won't pick me. You did so well with the key thing. What's your name? Ali. Ali, can you help me with this? Would that be okay? You might want to leave the key with the gentleman to the dodgy looking guy over there. That's amazing. Come on up, Ali. Everyone give Ali a big round of So Ali's done right there. We're going to do something with the new cube. We're going to get to her cube in a bit. We're going to do something with this cube right now. I should also point out that as well as this cube, I have a cube for you as well. That one's mine. This one's yours. This one is a training cube. It's very easy. Before you use this one, I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to mix it up. Now guys, there are 6 sides to a Rubik's Cube, and there's a different colour on each side. The more you mix one of these things up, the more difficult it is to solve. There's actually 47 quintillion million combinations with the Rubik's Cube, which is ridiculous when you think about it. I'm not going to solve this, I'm just going to put it right there, and I would like you to mix this one up. Now this one is basically a toy. 1 in 5 times I give this to someone to mix, they break it. Please don't break it. You can go in any direction, but if you feel like you're forcing it, line the sides up first. If you do try and force it, it will break. If you mix it too fast, it will break. If you break it, it's going to be embarrassing for everyone, but mainly me, because this is my job. So what I want you to do is mix it up as much as you want to. Ali, you can go in any direction, as long as you realise that when you finish mixing it, I'm going to ask you to put it back in the original order. I'm joking, Ali. She wasn't really fazed by that. Ali, the longer it takes you to do this, the more difficult it is for me to do what I'm about to do. And I've got a feeling you don't like me very much. Are you sure? Yeah. Guys, my job is to do the impossible. What you're about to see right now is completely impossible. And let me explain why. You mix this up. Before you mix this up, I mix this one up. I think it's pretty impressive that these 2 sides right here match exactly. I know, I love the look on your face, so you look like a rabbit caught in headlights. That side number 1 matches exactly. Side number 2 matches exactly. Side number 3 matches exactly. Side number 4 matches exactly. And if I get these last 2 sides, I know you're going to go crazy. The one on the top is side number 5, and guys, the one on the bottom is side number 6. That's all 6 sides. Thank you very much. These 2 cubes now look identical. If I told you 6 months ago I knew exactly how these cubes would look, would you believe me? So if I could prove to you categorically, without a shadow of a doubt, I knew exactly what this cube would look like 6 months ago, would that be good enough to get a big round of applause? Yep. Well, genuinely, I didn't know exactly how this cube would end up mixed 6 months ago. You don't believe me, do you, Ali? Yeah. To prove it to you, 6 months ago, I've got myself a tattoo right there on my arm, and you can probably see that that tattoo predicts exactly how that cube would be mixed. I'm hoping you guys are just stunned into silence. This is where we're at right now. Now, I know why you're not going crazy. The reason is you're waiting for the moment that everybody waits for. You're waiting for me to solve the Rubik's Cube. Now, the world champion can solve one of these in 7.8 seconds using 2 hands. I'm going to solve this in 1 second with 1 hand. If I can solve this in 1 second with 1 hand, the deal is you've got to go crazy. Is that okay? Yeah. Now, you're going to be timekeeper. You're going to say go. You don't need a clock or a watch. As long as you can count to one, we can't be good. Okay? So, all you have to do is say go. 1 second later, I'm going to solve it. Everybody watch the cube when you say go.
Okay.
Go. That's a second, right? The rule in magic, never repeat the trick. I'm going to do it one more time. Can you do me a favour? There's 6 colours on a Rubik's Cube, so name a colour. Red. Okay, no problem. Here's the thing. I'm going to do this one more time, but I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to go very slowly, so you can see the whole thing happening. Now, the one thing you need to understand about a Rubik's Cube is the centre points never mix. The centre points always stay the same. So, for example, if I wanted to solve the orange side, it would have to be around the orange centre. Does that make sense? This could not be the orange side. That would have to be the yellow side. What was the colour you said, sir? Red. There. So that's the red side. That has to be the red side. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Can you all see that side there? I just want you to focus on this side. I'll stand up. If I hold it up here, can you see it? Watch that cube. If I shake it in slow motion in one hand, that cube will start solving that red side in slow motion. And as that red side starts to solve, I snap my fingers, every other side of that cube solves. The only way I can get better than this, and the only way I can improve on what's happening, is if I don't solve the cube, but instead I get somebody else to solve the cube, somebody who's never solved the cube before. Somebody like Ali. You don't know how to solve a cube, do you? So, well, do me a favour, stand right there, face the front, smile, you're in show business, but people remember this moment forever. It's already mixed up. I'm going to put it behind my back. Tell me if you can see the cube there, Ali.
Yeah.
When I put this behind your back, I'd like you to copy what I'm doing and just turn the cube like that. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
That is literally all I want you to do.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Now don't drop it on the floor because that will break it. We don't want to do that. And it's already mixed up, so Ali can only make it worse. So put your hands behind your back. You should be able to feel it as it comes down into your hand, and you're turning it right up. That's perfect. Now, I'm not going to touch you or go anywhere near you. I want to keep turning it, but whenever you're happy, stop, but keep it behind your back, and tell everyone that you've stopped.
I'll stop.
Now, this is the moment that people are going to remember forever. This is the moment that people are going to come back to you and tell you to remember this moment. I'm going to snap my fingers, and when I do, you're going to bring the cube out in front of you. The cube that's been mixed up and you've been turning it behind your back. And if that's solved, every single person here is going to give a big round of applause to you. You don't believe this? Oh, good. You believe. Because the only way this is going to work is if you do believe. So I want to hear it from the soul. Do you believe?
I believe you.
Do you believe? 3, 2, 1. Remember that we gave Ali, do you remember we gave Sarah a mixed up cube? Just before you go, just stay here 1 second. Do you remember we gave Sarah a mixed up cube?
Yeah.
And you've been holding that in the bag? And you've been holding that the whole time? You've done an amazing job. Let's give Sarah a big round of applause. Following this cube the entire time. You hold on to that, I don't want to touch it. Don't open it just. Here's the thing, the big finish. See, every trick needs a big finish, and this is the big finish to this trick. You see, you've been holding that mixed up cube. If I told you I could solve that cube that I haven't even touched, that Sarah's been holding the whole time, would that be good?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. Because I've kind of technically already done that. I never touched the cube that was behind your back, and that's solved. So I have to go further from a theatrical point of view. This thing has to build. So I'm going to snap my fingers, and when I do snap my fingers, every single little bit of colour in that bag, not the bag, sorry, the cube, every single bit of colour on that cube in that bag is going to vanish. The red, the green, the blue, the yellow, the orange, the white, even the black under the stickers. It happens when I snap my fingers. And the only way we're going to know this has worked or not is by the look on her face when she looks in that bag. Have a look. Take it out and show them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a big finish. You will not find a clear cube anywhere, and for helping me, Ali, I want to say thank you very much, and I'd like to give you a gift. Here you go, you can have the bag. There you go.
So next up we have No Brainer. Next up we have No Brainer by Bill Abbott. Now I love no-brainer. I absolutely do. No-brainer I've actually used as a closer many times. As I say, I've got multiple stage shows and parlor shows. I happily would use no-brainer as a closer. You know, I use it in probably 3 different ways. And my friend Steve Deller and I, we do a show called Phantasmagoria together, and this is used in the Phantasmagoria show, which tells you exactly what we think of it, because I mean that's a big show and it fits really well in there. So it's a very versatile prop as well. And what I mean by that is you can play it in so many different ways. It's basically a one-man prediction system. So it's a little bit like having a prediction chest, but you don't need any backstage assistance or anything like that. And I do love that moment where you walk out on stage carrying that big black envelope, you pop it down in front of them, and it's there for the entire show until you choose to do this routine. Now, even though there's lots of different ways that you can do this, my favorite way of doing this is with the with the blind date presentation, which is what you're about to see here. I love the blind date presentation. Now, this is quite a long mentalism routine, and there's 2 things I want you to understand. It is not played as a mentalism routine, as in, I am the almighty, all-powerful, mind-reading God, and I can predict the future. Oh my God, I'm amazing. It fits within my character. The character being, as I said, someone who cheats for a living, right? So I'm not pretending that I've got psychic powers. I'm not pretending that I can read minds, but I'm kind of playing it off as mental magic, if that kind of makes sense. Now, that brings up the whole other question, which is, should you combine magic and mentalism in a show? And I know there's going to be people watching this that are going to turn around to me and say, you shouldn't do No-Brainer in the same show as Chop Cup and Superfly. It just shouldn't happen. And I value your opinion. And if that's what you think and that isn't appropriate for your show, that's fine. It works for my show. I don't have a problem mixing magic and mentalism because I'm very clear about what my character is. For me, No-Brainer is presented more as a magic trick than as a mentalism piece. Now, that works for me because I'm aware of my character and I'm aware of my trick selection. It might not work for you. So the important thing, if you're trying to decide what tricks you're going to do in your parlor show, and you're trying to decide, shall I do mentalism or magic or both? Really, it's down to your character, and it's about how you present this stuff. You can present mentalism. You can present, I remember seeing Richard Osterland doing lots of mentalism, obviously, on one of his first L&L DVDs. And then I remember him just randomly doing a magic trick. Like, I can't remember what the trick was now. I can't remember. I think it was Build to Impossible Location. But he just randomly did a magic trick. I'm like, oh, okay, right, fair enough. So yeah, I mean, that's something to bear in mind. Now, in terms of No-Brainer, right, so I said I love the theatre of the envelope being brought out at the very beginning and put at the back. I do love that. I think that's really good. I also love the fact that this is a very interactive routine. You see that a lot of the audience members make the choices. A lot of the audience, I'm involving lots of different members of the audience, but this whole blind date presentation is very, very funny as well. And I love the fact that they apparently are making all of the choices, and yet everything has been predicted and it's been there the entire time. It's incredibly clever, it really is. No-Brainer is, in my opinion, one of the best show closers that you're ever going to find. I'm going to show it you in a second. One thing that I want you to note is that when I finish No-Brainer, I take the prediction and I just put it back where the black envelope is, and it stays there the entire time as a visual memento of what they've just seen. It's great. Now, it is a longer routine compared to a lot of the other stuff that's been taking place up until this point, so that's something to bear in mind. But like I say, as long as you're aware of your character and you're aware of your show, you shouldn't have a problem at all. So let's have a look at the performance footage for No-Brainer.
Would you like to come on a blind date with me, sir? We'd like to, yeah. Look, here's the thing, I'm going to show you something right now. When I found out, when I found out that I was performing here today, I wanted to make sure that I did something that was truly unique. So I've created something specifically for this show. I've created something specifically for this show, something that you're going to remember forever. I've created, this is the first time this has ever been performed, and I'd like you to come up and help me. Would that be okay? Bring your chair with you. Everyone give him a big, massive round of applause. Bring your chair with you, guys. Bring your chair. I'll get your chair, don't worry. It's okay, you don't have to listen to me. Now, everybody knows that I have to do this because from a theatre point of view, this is very important. What's your name, sir?
Adrian.
Adrian. Everyone give Adrian a big round of applause. Adrian, we are going to go on a virtual blind date for your birthday. On a virtual blind date, but we're going to decide everything. We're going to decide everything about this virtual blind date. You see, I have a couple of notepads that I bought from the train station on the way here. And what I've done is I've written here, there's 100 pages. On each page, I have written something different that you could do on a blind date. So you can see dinner for two, trip down the river, pub crawl, swimming, jumping out of a plane, ice skating, speed cubing, visiting a museum. There's 100 different things. Do me a favour, sir, hold your hand out flat, your left hand. Your other left hand, very good. And don't do anything with that yet. When I snap my fingers, you're going to lift up and you're going to have a look at, so you lift up with your thumb at the back and look at what you've stopped on. In this case, it would be going to the cinema. But don't do that just that. Keep there, just there like that. Because I also have another book. And the other book has different places that you could go on a blind date. And I'd like, not everyone can see this, so you can be everyone's eyes and ears. We've got Paris, Sydney, Las Vegas, Texas. I thought as in Barcelona, Perth, Los Angeles, Cape Town, Buenos Aires. I thought if we're going to go on a virtual blind date, let's push out all the stops. So this is for you, sir. You're going to hold this on your hand, and when I snap my fingers, you're going to lift up the thumb at the back. You guys are going to decide where you're going, and you're going to decide what you're doing on this blind date. So we'll start with you, sir. Can you just lift up with your thumb at the back and tell everyone, go for it, lift up, and tell everyone what he's going to be doing.
Rock climbing.
He's going to be rock climbing on this blind date. That's very, very exciting. So you're going to be rock climbing, and if you could do me a favour and with your thumb, lift up at the back and tell everyone all of those exotic places, where is he going?
Slough.
I ran out towards the back of the book. You're going rock, can you even go rock climbing in Slough? No, you can't. So you're going to go rock climbing in Slough. Now, also we need to decide when this date's taking place, this virtual blind date. What day is he going on? What month? Decide on a month. What month is he going on this blind date? July, you're going on a blind date in July. There's like 31 days in July. Which date is he going on in July?
17th.
The 17th of July. 17th of July, you go on a blind date, rock climbing
In Slough.
in Slough.
I've just been to say he doesn't want to go.
Very exciting. Now, I should have done this before, but I'm going to do it now. The thing you need to understand is I can't just do this with anybody. Okay. Psychically, you and I need to be in touch. And I need to make sure. How you doing? I need to make sure. I don't know if you and I are in touch, so we're going to use the envelope of mystery to decide whether you or I are in touch. You see, inside this envelope that has been there from the very, very beginning, I will show you, is another envelope. I know, an envelope which is being sealed. Now, we're going to open this up in a minute, but I have to be honest, I can't just do this to anybody. So I need to make sure that you and I are psychically in touch. Can you take the lid of my pen and hold it for me for a minute? What I would like you to do, I'm going to write something on the back of this envelope. I'm going to write a word. It's fine. I'm going to write a word. It could be any word in the English language. Now be honest. Put the lid back on again now. Be honest, tell the truth, don't lie. Do you have any idea what the word is?
No.
No! What is the word? High five! That tells me this is going to work! Brilliant! So, do me a favour, sit on this for a minute. There you go, sit on it. Very good. So there's one last thing that we need to decide. We've decided where. We've decided what you're doing. We've decided the month, we've decided the day. The only thing that's left is decide who you're going on this date with. I have here a big pack of cards, and on these cards we have 52 celebrities. Don't need to concern you, some are male, some are female. We have Lady Gaga. We have Sandra Bullock, Celine Dion, Anne Hathaway, Simon Cowell. There you go, there's a date you wouldn't forget. Leonardo DiCaprio, Louis Walsh, Victoria Beckham, Posh Spice. Very excited. Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. There you go. All the way down to Beyonce. Now you're going to decide who you end up on this date with. What I want you to do, you can mix these up like that if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. Oh, you are?
Well, just do it once or twice.
No, that's fine. What do you do for a living, sir?
Just to confuse you.
No, it's okay.
Financial advisor.
Really? Do I have to mess with your figures? Right, okay. Here's what's going to happen. I want you to spread them out and hold half in each hand. We're going to eliminate these down to one. So spread them out, hold half in each hand. Okay. There you go. Now, when I snap my fingers, you're going to hand half of the cards to me. To be clear, there is no wordplay here. Whichever half you hand me, we're eliminating those cards. They are going to be gone. They are going to disappear. We're never going to see them again. Which half would you like to eliminate? Very good. So we have got rid of Beyonce. She's gone. Lady Gaga's gone. Simon Cowell's gone. Darren Brown's gone. Danny DeVito's gone. That's probably a good thing. Spread them out to half in each hand again. Very good. Half in each hand. When I snap my fingers, you're going to hand half to me. Whichever half you hand to me, we're going to eliminate. They're going to be gone. Very good. So we've got rid of these as well. We've got rid of Robert De Niro. Madonna's gone. Jennifer Aniston's gone. Now, there's not really many left, so I'm going to spread them out, and you're going to touch one of these. Anyone you want to, just touch one. That one there. I'm going to put it on top. Now, would you like to change your mind? If you want to, this is the moment that you can change your mind if you would like.
No.
Are you happy? I don't want you saying later on that I wouldn't let you change your mind. You happy with this one, yeah? Very good. Take it, have a look at it, and tell everyone who your blind date is with. Before you do, he could have had Harrison Ford, Wayne Rooney, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, Bruce Willis, Victoria Beckham. Who are you going on your blind date with?
Brad Pitt.
That's kind of that'll be a fun blind date. It could be worse, But here's this, think about this for a minute. He made all the decisions there. He mixed the cards. He decided which cards to eliminate. He decided which cards to keep. There were 52 cards and you ended up with one. There's no way I could have known that you would be on this blind date with Brad Pitt. Stand up. This envelope has been here. Sit down again, please. This envelope has been in there from the very beginning. It has been inside the envelope of mystery. I'm going to open this up for the first time. And you will find something very, very interesting inside here. You look at, there's two things, and let me show you the first thing. There is a picture. If I told you this was a picture of Brad Pitt, would that be good? Yeah. If I told you this was a picture of Brad Pitt and he had a free choice, would that be good enough for you guys to give me a big round of applause? Yes. There is a picture in here. I can't get it out. There is a picture in here. There is one picture only. Guys, you're going to be amazed. This is a picture of Brad Pitt as a 6-month-old baby. He's naked in this picture. Please don't be alarmed. And that's the trick. Thank you. No, but in all seriousness, there is one other thing in here as well. And that's this. You see, I had a piece of paper in here. This piece of paper has been in here from the very, very beginning. I'm going to open this up because it is a big piece of paper. And it says, if I can open it up, I want you to see. Here it is. Your blind date is rock climbing in Slough! On the month of July and on the 17th day! And ladies and gentlemen, I wrote down that he would have his date with Brad Pitt! Let's give a big, huge, massive round of applause! absolutely.
So the next routine after No Brainer is Fibre Optics by Richard Sanders. Now, if you don't know Fibre Optics by Richard Sanders, it is, in my opinion, the greatest rope routine of all time. It is such a wonderful rope routine for a few different reasons. One, it's very visual. Two, it packs small, it plays big, but also there's lots of magical moments. Within the routine, there's probably about 10 or 15 moments of magic. As soon as they've seen one thing, they're about to see another thing, and they're about to see another thing. And it's why I wanted to include this at this point, because I've just done a longer routine that builds to a finale, and the finale is very strong, but there's maybe 10 minutes or so of procedure. And admittedly, it's interactive, and that's the important thing, making it interactive, making it fun, making it engaging, making it fit with your character. But it's still a long thing, which is why I now do Fibre Optics at this point, to really kind of bring the visual quota back up, if that kind of makes sense. It's a routine that plays very, very well. I can get various different members of the audience to help without actually coming up to the front. I can get them involved in the show, which is great. And like I say, it plays to a big audience. So and also at this point, I want you to see something. Look at the structure of this show. There's so much variety. We haven't even done a card trick yet. Now, there is a card trick coming at the end of this show, but there isn't a card trick yet. I don't know if you can count cards across as a card trick. I don't think you can, but if you do, fair enough. But outside of that, there's cubes, there's mentalism, there's rope, there's there's cups, there's coins, making it really varied, which is very, very important. So let's have a look at that Fibre Optics footage, and then we'll go into the final two routines of the show.
We have 3 pieces of rope here, ladies and gentlemen. 3 pieces of rope. Now they are all... I did that with the power of my mind. Now they're all exactly the same, other than the fact they're different sizes. There's a long piece of rope, you can have a look at that one there for me, sir. There's a medium-sized piece of rope, you can have a look at that one there for me, sir. And there's a small piece, not that I'm trying to say anything, that's for you. Have a look at the rope, check it out, make sure it's okay. How's your big one, sir?
It's fine.
Good stuff. How's your little one, sir?
Like that.
I can relate. How's the medium-sized one? Good. Excellent stuff. So 3 pieces of rope examined by members of the audience. Guys, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do before I do it. 3 pieces of rope, I'm going to try and create the illusion that all 3 pieces of rope become exactly the same size. So in other words, the long piece is the same size as the medium-sized piece, which is indeed the same size as the small piece. It looks like this. When I snap my fingers, I can create the illusion that all 3 pieces of rope become exactly the same size. Which is pretty impressive, because think about it, the first piece of rope is now the same size as the second piece of rope, which is the same size as the third piece of rope. Now the first time I saw that, I forgot to applaud as well. Sarah, you're amazed, aren't you? I can tell. But it's really important that you hold it in. Don't. Now, there's too much to watch. I'll get rid of one of the pieces of rope, we'll just use 2 pieces. And now you know what's going to happen, I'll do it again. But this time, I want to watch these 2 pieces of rope very carefully. You guys on this side, watch this one. You guys on this side, watch this one. Watch and don't blink. If I take these 2 pieces of rope and blow, I can create the illusion that they are now one long piece of rope. I'm not kidding. Here's the thing, I'm going to do this again. Magicians aren't meant to repeat a trick again, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try and cut the rope in 2. Now, I don't have scissors, I don't need scissors because I've got used to your hands of steel. What you're going to do is you're going to karate chop through the middle of the rope. And it's really important, yes. I want you to channel your inner Bruce Lee when you do this. And I mean that. That was great. I'm going to say you're scaring me a little bit. But that's okay, right? Here we go. Right through the middle on 3. 1, 2, 3. Look at that! Very impressive. You see, it looks like 2 pieces of rope, doesn't it? You'd swear there were 2 pieces of rope here until you blow. And when you blow, you get one long piece. You guys at the back of the room look so confused around this. This is awesome. Now I'm going to tell you how this works. I shouldn't do this, but I am. It's very simple how this works. There is only 1 piece of rope, but what I do is hold the ends in one hand. I hold the middle in the other, and I make the ends in the middle change places so quickly, and it looks like 1 piece of rope. I can tell you don't believe a word that I'm saying. I can tell you don't believe a word that I'm saying. So I'm going to prove it to you. I want you to watch very carefully. I'm going to hold the ends over here. I'm going to hold the middle over here, and I'm going to try and make the ends of the middle change places. Watch. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And back again. You don't look very impressed. I can tell you don't look very impressed. Let me try that again. Watch. Watch the ends. You take the first end, you pull it into your hand. You blow. Jumps over there. You take the other end, you pull that into your hand, you blow. The other end jumps over there. When the ends are over there, the middle's over there, the ends in the middle change places. Thank you very, very much! One last time, can you do me a favour? Can you hold on to the ends? Hold on to them very carefully, do not let go. You hold on to those ends now. If you're holding on to the ends and I hold on to the middle, there's no way they can change places, right? If she was holding on to the ends and the middle changed places with the ends, that would be good, wouldn't it? Think about that, Sarah. That would be absolutely amazing. That would you pull my ends off. That gives a whole new meaning to the word get you underway. I can fix it. You're going to have to decide where to put the ends back, right? I'll run my hand down the rope. You just say stop. Whenever you say stop, we'll put the ends back. No, before I get to the end. We'll try again. I'll count to 3, I'll start. I'll go very quickly. That's why I had to go single for so many years. Let's try again, here we go. One person, thank you. 2, that's nice. 1, 2, 3. Stop. I haven't. Now you're reminding me of my wife. Let's try it this way. Anytime you want to just say stop.
Stop.
Perfect. You pass me hands? Excellent. Oh, I need to let go, I'm not good. Right, okay. There you go. I'm just going to wrap them around there. You hold on to the ends now. Just wrap them over the rope. Watch very carefully. All you have to do is blow. Wow. If I was a rope, I'd go back together. Let go. 3, 2, 1. I need a high gap right there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Look at that. That's amazing. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. But guys, I'm sure you remember at the beginning, we didn't have 3 pieces of rope like this. You hold on to that one, Sarah. That one was the long one. I remember that. You hold on to that one. That was the medium one. And this one here was the small one. On the count of 3, everybody pull. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. That's the 3 pieces of rope. Back together. Thank you very, very much. The long, the medium, and the short. Now, the penultimate trick is very, very important here because I probably wouldn't have done it depending on timing, and that's come from experience more than anything else. Let me explain what I mean. So the finale is destination box. I always knew I wanted to do destination box as the finale. Now, like I said at the beginning, this audience wanted an hour. If I'm over a couple of minutes or under a couple of minutes, it's not really that important, but they needed about an hour. So I had a timer set up in my box, and I was keeping an eye on the time the entire way through. Now, I can't predict exactly what point I'm going to be at this point in the show. It depends on several different factors. How much banter I've had with the audience, how long various different things can be. Sometimes No Brainer can run an awful lot longer, or sometimes it can run a lot less. There's lots of different factors to take into consideration. So what I had set up in my box is I had Silk to Egg and I had linking rings. And Silk to Egg runs about 2 to 3 minutes. Linking rings runs about 5 to 7 minutes. My thought process was I was going to look at the time at this point. And if I was at about 10 minutes before the end, I would go straight into destination box because that's about a 10-minute routine. If I was about 13 or 14 minutes before the end, I'd throw Silk to Egg in. If I was about 15 to 18 minutes before the end, I'd throw in linking rings, the Pop Hayden version. And if I was over 20 minutes and everything had gone completely wrong and I still had 20 minutes to do, I'd throw in linking rings and Silk to Egg and destination box. So this way I'm prepared whatever eventuality. Now in this case, I had a couple of minutes to fill, so I threw in Silk to Egg. But there's a very good chance I might not have even needed that. Being prepared is really important. It's those 7 P's, isn't it? Proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. Knowing that you have stuff within your case to cover you in case there's a problem. Now, I actually had other stuff in my case. I had 2 other routines as well, just in case. I had egg bags set up and ready to go, and I had my, not mine, but Michael J. Fitch's Life is a Box of Chocolates, which is a storytelling routine with pictures of chocolate bars. I had both of those in the case. And I also had nearby, I had a Miser's Dream style thing, but it's not Miser's Dreams, Wishes. I had a Wishes by Scott Alexander and Puck.
And the reason I had all of this stuff is just in case. Like I've seen a few times a magician running really short, being booked for like half an hour and only doing 20 minutes. And afterwards they'd turn around and they'd say, oh, one of the props went wrong, but I didn't have anything to replace it with. Well, I can't allow that to happen. And I can't tell you the amount of times something has gone wrong. And I'm glad that I've got something else in my case that I can go into instead. Also, you might find that the audience just isn't going to buy into a particular routine. I've had a situation before where I planned to do this exact same show, but I could just tell that No Brainer wasn't going to work. You need an audience invested in the show at that point. And if you got kind of like a holiday park show or a people who have been drinking a bit, that No Brainer won't work. Well, I can very easily take that out and replace it with something like Egg Bag at that point in the show, which will still play really well, but it means that I won't have to worry about that. So it's important to have extra stuff in the case, just in case. Okay. In this case, I went into Silk to Egg. So Silk to Egg is a great routine. I absolutely love it. I've been doing it for years and years and years. If you want to know the best place to get a Silk to Egg gimmick, I would go to Prop Dog, speak to Dave Bonsall and the Prop Dog team. I cannot recommend anywhere else to go and get an egg. Whether you want a white egg or you want a brown egg or whatever, Prop Dog are the place to go. They're fake eggs for Silk to Egg are brilliant. Now, I'll say something a little bit controversial here, which is I know that I'm going to have pretty much every single person watching this video disagree with me, because that's fine. I've had people call me idiots over this. One of my, friends like Alex Foden and Nemid Phoenix, they've all called me an idiot for what I'm about to tell you. And you know what? I don't disagree with them. However, this works for me. And what I'm talking about is when I do Silk to Egg, I don't do that moment where I peel the sticker off. I just don't do that. That's just not something I do. Never have. And people turn around to me and go, why would you not do that? That's the most magical part of the trick. Well, it's because I've tried it that way several times, and I've tried it millions of times without the sticker. And in all honesty with you, I get a better reaction if the sticker's not there. I just feel that takes away at the wrong part of the show or the wrong part of the routine. Now, I'm not saying I'm right. However, that's what I believe through extensive experience of performing Silk to Egg. And I know that most people watching this are going to go, you're crazy, Craig, you're crazy. And that's absolutely fine. But the lesson you can learn from this is don't be dictated to by other people. If they say that this is the way to do it and you don't feel like that's the best way, then don't do it that way. Do it the way that you think's best. Ultimately, though, I love Silk to Egg. Regardless of whether you use the sticker or not. We haven't spent too much time talking about hook lines or transitions. We mentioned it earlier on. We haven't spent too much time talking about it. The Silk to Egg routine is the perfect example of a fantastic hook, because it's very plausible at this point in the show. I would say, hey, before we reach the end, would you guys like to learn how to do a magic trick? And I teach them a simple trick. It's very plausible. And unlike a lot of sucker routines, with the Silk to Egg, they genuinely do think that you're teaching them the trick, because you're showing them the egg and you've got the magician's egg and you're exposing the gimmick. Everyone thinks that you're actually teaching them how this trick works. And then you just pull the rug under them and they have this moment that just impacts them really strongly and they don't see it coming. And the nice thing about Silk to Egg is it can fit into any part of the show that you want to put it into. You want to put it at the beginning, in the middle, at the end. It fits pretty much anywhere. I wouldn't use it as a closer, but as a pre-closer like this, works great. Anyway, let's have a look at the non-sticker version of Silk to Egg.
I ask all the time when people find out I'm a magician, they always like to, they ask me if they can learn how to do a magic trick. Now, there's a rule in magic. You must have heard of the magic circle. They have certain rules and regulations. The big rule in the magic circle is never tell anyone how the trick works. Have you heard of that? Yeah. Now, I've been kicked out of the magic circle twice. It's their fault. They should have let me back in the first time. And so I'm allowed to teach you guys a trick. Would you guys like to see a quick trick? Would you like to teach you a magic trick? Would you like to learn? Okay, I'm going to teach you a really quick trick. I'm going to teach you a really quick trick, and it uses a handkerchief. Now, genuinely, I am going to teach you how this trick works. And so if you take one thing from this show, it's this. I'll teach you how this trick works. First of all, let me perform it for you. It's called the green handkerchief trick, because it uses a green handkerchief. It's very obvious, right? It uses a green handkerchief. Now watch the handkerchief very carefully. Do not blink for a second. The handkerchief gets pushed inside the hand. And the idea is that you have to push the handkerchief in the hand all the way. You do not want to leave any bits sticking out. The handkerchief goes in the hand, you push it all the way into the hand, you don't leave anything sticking out, and the whole idea is very simple. You snap your fingers, wave your hand over the handkerchief, and when you do, ladies and gentlemen, the handkerchief turns into an egg. And the handkerchief ends up in my pocket. Now I'm going to teach you how that works. It's very simple. You need a few things. So first of all, you need is a handkerchief. The second thing you need is a magician's egg. This is a magician's egg. Now a magician's egg is not an egg that's been laid by a magician. A magician's egg is an egg with a hole in it. I know, there's a technical term for that, it's called cheating. And inside the magician's egg there is another handkerchief. And this is how the trick works. You have to do the prep. Now the prep means what you do before you do the trick. You see, before you do the trick, you take the magician's egg, that's the egg with the hole in it, and you put it into your pocket. It's a way you can grab it very, very quickly, very, very easily. You then take one of the handkerchiefs and you put that into the same pocket. And then you put the other handkerchief into a different pocket. Are we following along so far? Now you then tell people, I'm going to show you an amazing trick. And both hands go into your pockets as if you're searching for the handkerchief. Now all you do is you're going to grab the magician's egg and grab it secretly in your left hand. Magicians call this palming. But you bring this handkerchief out first of all and wave it up and down. This is called misdirection. Everybody looks over here and they don't see your hand coming out with the egg. Does that make sense? Now it's important that when your audience is watching this, you make sure the audience is this way, because if they watch from behind, they see the egg. It's not a very good trick. Okay? And then what you do is you say, I'm going to show you a trick with a handkerchief. And then what you do is you start to push the handkerchief apparently into the hand, but really it goes into the hole in the egg. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now there's a technical term for this. It's called pushing the handkerchief into the hole in the egg. Don't do it this way because they'll see it going into the hole in the egg and that makes it look very bad. Now this is really important. This bit is really important. You snap your fingers and you're going to grab the egg and hold it up here like this. When you do this, cover the whole of the egg with the thumb, because you don't want them to see inside. Does that make sense? And what happens, this is an applause cue. When you bring the egg out and you hold it up here, everybody will give you a big round of applause, a bit like this. Ta-da! And it reaches into your pocket, and the other handkerchief that you put in there, you pull out and you wave it around. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now there is one thing that people ask me, what happens if there's a wise guy in the audience and he goes, I know how that works. That's one of those trick eggs with a hole in it. Well, if you do get a wise guy like that, what you have to do, and this is what the glass is for. You see, if you do get somebody that says, hey, I know how that works, what you have to do is take the glass, blow on the egg, tap the egg against the glass, show it's a real egg, and you get a big So now you know how it works, you can go and do that later on.
And then you've got the finale. You've got the final routine. Now, this is Destination Box by John Allen. And I've talked about Destination Box on this channel a lot, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. The one thing that I will tell you is, for me, this is the greatest closer to a stage show that I could ever use. It plays big because of the cards being thrown everywhere. It plays big. It allows the routine to come full circle because I've given the box out at the very beginning. When that whole thing goes wrong, it's basically classic magician in trouble, right? So the trick goes wrong. It goes completely wrong. The audience are finding it hilarious. They know this is your finale, and they don't see any way for you to get out of it. And it's like, what's going to happen? It almost starts to feel a little uncomfortable. And then you've got that moment where you go, I can get out of this with 4 words, and they still don't see it coming. And then you go, who's got the box? And at that point, every single person in the audience, they're like, no. Because they know that box was put there from the beginning of the audience, at the beginning of the show, that box was put there. And so when you then open it up and show there's another box in there, and inside that box is the selected card, the signed selected card, people absolutely lose it. It's a guaranteed standing ovation. You know, I pretty much get, and I'm not talking about a, will you please stand up? I'm talking about a, you know, most often when I do this as a finale to my show, I will get a standing ovation because they just can't believe that this is possible, because the box was in the audience from the very, very beginning. The thing to learn from this trick is, if you see a trick that you like that doesn't fit you, don't be afraid to change it. So I originally envisaged this as a card sword routine. And the problem with it was, I was going to throw the cards up in the air and then do card sword, and that was going to be the finale. And the problem is, I just didn't get the reactions from the card sword that I thought that I wanted to. But before I did card sword, I did this thing where they threw them and they went wrong. I was like, don't worry, pick them back up and we'll do it again. And that's when it kind of died. And I remember analysing it and thinking, well, it's starting to die when they're picking the cards up again. That's a dead moment. And then it becomes anticlimactic because we've had that joke. And then, so how can I fix that? Well, how about if instead of me using a sword, it actually does go wrong? Okay, well, how am I going to fix that? Well, I could fix it by having it go into an impossible location. Okay, where could I have it go? Well, it could go into my wallet. Nah, it's not impossible enough. Well, it could go... And it was kind of along that sort of process. So when you're constructing routines, don't be afraid to change them. Just because you've got a clear idea for a particular routine or a particular finale to your show doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be sticking with that one, if that makes sense. But there you go. I mean, that's the destination box. I'm going to run that for you now so you can have a look at it. You can look at the performance. I love destination box. I really do. It's available from John Allen. It's a great way to end the show. I can't think of a better way to end my show. Let's have a look at it right now.
We've now reached the part of the show that you've all been waiting for. The end. We've now reached the big finale. One last trick. One final thing. Ladies and gentlemen, one last trick with a pack of playing cards. And I would like to get somebody to come up and help me with this last trick. And I think the only person I could ask to have come up and help with this is the person who originally rang me up and said they'd like me to be here today. Would you like to come up and help?
Come on, Kimberly.
Come on, everyone give Kim a big massive round of applause. Stand up there, Kim, face the front, smile, you're in show business. Thank you very much. Now the problem is, Kim, when a lady comes up on stage to help, it's very difficult to decide how it gets better.
Excuse me, no, I'm not going. I've got to go. Sorry.
You've got to go, you've got to go. Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Little voice now.
Oh yeah, no problem, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll see you in a bit. Well, to be honest, the first 5 minutes is just faffing around anyway, so don't worry about it. Right.
Make a stall for a minute.
I'll stall. I'll tell Joe. How's that sound? I'm stalling. What was Piglet doing with his head down the toilet? Looking for poo. So. Well, I found the level. That's good to know. Here's the thing. When you get a lady to come up on stage, it's very difficult to know how to greet them. With a guy, it's normally a handshake. But with a lady, there's so many different wet hug, high five, fist bump, hanky, so many different ways. So I thought we'd leave it to chance. Over here, I have 6 different ways that I can greet you. 6 different ways of greeting you. I also have a mug and I have a dice. So hold on to that, I have the die. We're going to put the die into the mug and then we'll just put your hand flat on top. Put your other hand on top like that so we can't get to it. And what I would like you to do is whenever you're ready, just start shaking that mug up and down. And when you're happy to stop shaking, but it's up to you when. Well, that helped. That was wonderful. And then what I'd like you to do is have a peek inside what number is pointing upwards. 4. So that is how I'm going to greet you. What have we got? Isn't that lovely? Come here, give me that was nice. So anyway, now I've greeted you, now we can begin the trick. And the trick is very simple. It uses a pack of playing cards. Before I start, would you like to shuffle the cards or do you trust me? No, you don't. No, you're right, you don't. Should I? Okay. Just give them a quick mix up. Yes. No, they can. Why don't you give it to someone to shuffle? Yeah.
I can tell you.
Go for it.
He does everything calm.
Are we done? Wonderful. Good stuff. So I told you, we've literally not done anything. It's fine. All I did is give her a hug. That's it. So we're good. We're fine. So the cards have been shuffled. You're going to pick a card. What I'd like you to do is pick a number card, not a picture card. It's not a jack, not a queen, not a king, any card, but any number card. Yeah, that'll be okay. The reason is you're going to write your name on it, and I want everyone to see your name in it at the back of the room, so a white space would help it. So take your card. Lovely, lovely. And when you've got the card, do me a favour and show it to all your friends. Apparently I'm not your friend. I thought we were bonding over this magical experience, but not it seems. Now what I'd like you to do is take this pen. I'd like you to write your name on the face of the card. Not on the back, on the face. Not on your face, on the face of the card. Big letters, write your name so they can see it at the back of the room. And then underneath, so just put your name, Kim. Can I call you Kim? Okay, put your phone number on there as well. No, you've got to make the card, you need to put something on there that I can possibly, I know, put your age on there. No, you should never ask a lady your age. Just put your weight instead. No, just put your bank account number and sort code, that's good. No, just put today's date, that'll be fine, I can keep this going forever. It's like the 6th of April. In 6 days' time, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
I know. I'll take the pen back, because that's how I got it. And you're going to put the card back in the deck, and anytime you want to, just say stop. Lovely, put the card back there. Excellent stuff. So here's the idea. I have to try and find your card. I told you at the very beginning that there was going to be a pick a card trick. This is it. This is the pick a card trick. I'm going to try and find your card. Now, I'm aware that everybody knows that I can do sleight of hand, so very quickly just give the cards a mix up yourself. You don't have to go over there. It doesn't have to be a great shuffle, but just mix it up as much as you can, and when you finish shuffling it, it's really important that you give the cards a cut, although frankly, your shuffle is basically like a cut. That's fine. I'm not going to touch the cards, it's really important I don't touch them. What I'd like you to do is hold on to the cards the whole time. Now this is, I say this is a trick, it's not really so much of a trick, and it's more of a demonstration in ninjutsu. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I am actually a trained ninja. Because when you look at me, you think ninja. Shut up. Yeah, exactly. You're stealing my moves though. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to take the cards in a second, you're going to spread them out. And you're going to be facing this way, and I'm going to be facing this way, and we're going to stand back to back. And then what's going to happen when I tell you, you're going to take the cards and you're going to throw them over your head. But no, we're going to be back to back, and the cards are going to go over your head. They're going to go over my head, over, not into. They're going to go over my head. And as they go over my head, ladies and gentlemen, with ninja-like dexterity, I'm going to reach into the air, pluck one card out the air. It will be your sign card, and that will be the finale of the show. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Yes! That'd be great, honestly. Honestly, the reason I picked you for this is I know you couldn't possibly get it wrong. So here we go. I'm even going to take my glasses off, which basically means I'm blindfolded. Put right there. Yes, but then the reason you're spreading them is when you throw them, they'll go all over the place as opposed to being in the clump, okay? I'm going to stand back to back, or cheek to cheek. Do me a favour, Kim, take one tiny step forward. No. Now suddenly everything has become a lot less creepy. Right, okay. Are you in position?
Yeah.
I'm going to look down. I will need complete silence for this moment. Here we go. Kim, are you ready?
Yes.
Now, we talked about this earlier on with the guys. If you get excited, they'll get excited. It's going to be a lot better. Let's try that again. Kim, are you ready?
I am.
Sounded a bit angry, to be honest. It sounded like my wife. But that's fine. That's fine. Okay, hang on. Kim! Throw the cards! Yes. On a count of 3! 1, 2, 3! Ninja! Oh yeah, it's funny to you. This is a career for me. Can you stop filming, please? Stop filming. Shut up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for watching the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's okay. Kim, I know you have. There's a whole bunch of face down cards, right, Kim? There's a load of face down cards. Do me a favour, point to one. That right there. Kim, you're going to walk over and pick that card up. Kim, turn it over. The card that you picked. Is that your card?
No.
Would have been good. I can fix this. I can fix this. I can fix this with the. It's okay. Look, watch. Look, the 10's going to disappear. Or the 8's going to disappear. Look at that. Magic. I know. Anyway, I can fix this. You ready? I can fix this. Honestly, I can fix this. With 4 words, I can fix this whole situation that you put us in. No. Who's got the box?
Whoa.
Oh, he's forgot his name. Me. I know it was like an hour ago, but come on. Wonderful. Can I have that box, please? Who's got the key?
Yo, over here.
Seriously, I don't know what you do for a living, but if you're going to be a glamorous assistant, I'll look it. That was amazing. Right. We got a key. Got a box. Got a lock. The key goes in the lock. When you turn it, the lock opens. Now, inside this box, there are 2 things. There is a little silver pill box and there is a vial of liquid. You get to pick one of these and one of these only. Do me a favour, hold your hand out. If you want the silver pill box, you get to have it and you get to keep what's inside as a magical souvenir. If you want the vial of liquid, you can have it, but you've got to drink it right now. I wouldn't recommend it because I know what's in it. It's your choice. What would you like? Are you sure? Don't open it just yet. We'll put these away. Now think about this for a minute. That silver pill box was inside that lock box that was held in place with you, sir, from the beginning of the show, all the way over there from our crack security team. There's absolutely no way I could have gone to them anywhere near that silver pill box. There is a button on the side. Press the button. When you do press the button, you will see that, open it up, inside there is a folded up playing card. A folded up playing card lodged inside this box. Don't open it just yet. This is the finale of the show. If that is your card, when you unfold it, you're going to look at it. If that's your card, you're going to say, that's my card. You're going to show it to the audience. And if it is, for the finale of the show, every single person is going to give you a huge, massive round of applause. It's going to be a tumultuous round of applause for you and me. Mainly me, but also you. Do me a favour, unfold it and show everybody and tell them.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! You get a pass because you got a broken leg. You guys are amazing. You can see that as a souvenir. Put it up on your bedroom wall next to one direction.
So there you go, guys. That is another magic stuff in the bag. It is a complete show breakdown of a Parlor show as requested by you guys. So now I've done a complete show breakdown of a kid show. I've done a complete show breakdown of a Parlor show. What would you like to see next? These videos take so long to put together. You've got no idea. They take so long to put together. So if you want to see another one, that's fine. Let me know. Do you want to see another Parlor show? Do you want to see a cabaret show? Do you want to see an illusion show? Do you want to see another kids show? What do you want to see? Do you want to see a formal sit-down close-up show? What do you want to see? And I'll do a show breakdown for it if you find it useful. And also, don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Don't forget, Netrix is going to be launching very, very soon. So if you want to register your interest, go to www.magictv.org, fill in your email address, and we'll get back to you when it launches. And outside of that, I'm going to be back tomorrow with another 3 videos, including a review show revisited tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. My name's Craig from Magic.